हाय एवरीवन, वेलकम टू अर्पिता शर्मा क्लासेस। आई एम योर एजुकेटर अर्पिता शर्मा और आज हम बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक पढ़ने वाले हैं आर्ट एंड कल्चर के पर्सपेक्टिव से। सो वी ऑल नो दैट व्हेन इट कम्स टू प्रीलिम्स, आर्ट एंड कल्चर इज गेनिंग इम्पोर्टेंस every year, right? Why? Because at least 8 questions are coming from art and culture. 8 questions means 16 marks. 8 questions का मतलब क्या हो गया? 1 question of 2 marks. So 16 marks. तो 16 नंबर आर्ट एंड कल्चर में से आ रहे हैं. Directly they are coming from art and culture. So we have to prepare art and culture very strategically. So after analyzing the previous year question papers, this conclusion that we have arrived at says that from art and culture they are asking questions from the important personalities, they are asking questions from important festivals, they are asking questions from the art and culture belonging to the Vedic civilization and the modern period, right? So in today's class we are going to cover the important personalities from the perspective of art and culture which have been in the current affairs also, right? And these important personalities, they belong to the medieval Indian history, the modern Indian history, right? So we are going to prepare them. Some most important personalities in this class we are going to prepare from the perspective of prelims के perspective से पढ़ने वाले हैं. And also we are going to understand some significant achievements made by these personalities which can be asked in your prelims, right? So let's start the class without any delay. Another important announcement is that the class PDF you will get it easily on my Telegram channel Simplifying UPSC with Ease. यहाँ आप देख सकते हो, ये मेरे Telegram channel का link नीचे description box में दिया है. Simplifying UPSC with Ease is the name of the channel. So you can find it on Telegram and you can download the notes and resources which I frequently upload over there. Right? So let's start the class without any delay. Class शुरू करते हैं. We are going to cover some important personalities in India from the perspective of art and culture. Okay, and prelims. Chalo, let's start the class without any delay. So the first important personality that we are going to study is Shri Vedanta Desikan. Now, as you can see, why it was in news. First of all, why this personality was in news. Current affairs से related हम पढ़ रहे हैं. This is the current affairs, right? The personalities which have been in news in the last 1 year. पिछले एक साल में जो personalities news में रही हैं हम वो पढ़ रहे हैं. So first is Shri Vedanta Desikan. Vice President released a postage stamp to mark or to celebrate the 750th birth anniversary of Shri Vedanta Desikan. Now, एक पोस्टेज स्टैम्प रिलीज किया है वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ने. क्यों? क्योंकि श्री वेदांत देसिकन की 750th एनिवर्सरी, बर्थ एनिवर्सरी थी. उसके उपलक्ष्य में ये पोस्टेज स्टैम्प लॉन्च किया गया, रिलीज किया गया. Now, who is Shri Vedanta Desikan? He is one of the most prominent preceptors in Shri Vaishnava tradition. Now, there are three kind of, you can say, denominations in the Hindu religion. Hindu religion में 3 denominations होते हैं. First denomination is known as Shaivism. Shaivism means where you worship Lord Shiva. Then is Vaishnavism. फिर आपका होता है Vaishnavism, where you worship Lord Vishnu. And then there is Shaktism. Shaktism is when you worship Mother Goddess Durga. Right? So Shaivism, Vaishnavism, Shaktism, these are the 3 denominations of Hindu religion or Hindu philosophy. And here, Shri Vedanta Desikan, he belongs to the Vaishnava tradition. That means he worships Lord, he is the devotee of Lord Vishnu. Right? Now, he followed the philosophy of Ramanuja's Vishishta Advaita. Now, Vishisht means unique. Advait means when there is no, differentiation or distinction, distinction between the soul and the Brahman. That is the God and the soul. That is Vishishta Advaita, which means Advait with uniqueness, right? Or qualifications. Now, it's non-dualism of the qualified whole. That means this is the whole universe, right? And the human soul or the animal soul, it's not different from the entire universal soul. भगवान से इंसान अलग नहीं है, पृथक नहीं है, एक ही है. वो आपका विशिष्ट अद्वैत हो जाएगा. So it's a school of Vedanta philosophy which believes in all diversity subsuming to an underlying unity. So every human being, every animal that you see, plants, this and birds and this and that you see, the soul which is residing in all of us, we are all united. It's a part of one universal soul, right? Now, Shri Vedanta Desikan, he was celebrated as Sarva Tantra Swatantra. Sarva Tantra Swatantra means master of all arts and crafts, right? तो जो इंसान जो कि हर आर्ट एंड क्राफ्ट का मास्टर होता है, राइट, उसको हम एक टाइटल बोल देते हैं जो है सर्वतंत्र स्वतंत्र, एंड ही वाज अवॉर्डेड द टाइटल कवि तर्किका केसरी, right? Why? Because he was the greatest of the poets in his, in that time. Okay, so he was celebrated as Sarvatantra Swatantra, and he was awarded the title Kavi Tarkika Kesari. Okay, and he was glorified as Ramanuja Daya Patram. That means the recipient of Ramanuja's blessings, because he used to follow Ramanuja. क्योंकि ये रामानुजा को फॉलो करते थे, इसलिए इन्हें रामानुजा के ब्लेसिंग्स मिली थी, तो हम इन्हें रामानुजा दया पात्रम भी कहते हैं. So he is known as Sarvatantra Swatantra, he is known as Kavi Tarkika Kesari and Ramanuja Daya Patram. Okay, now he had authored brilliant poems, prose, drama, epics, commentaries, etc. because in literature he was the master of all arts and crafts. Sarvatantra Swatantra. So he has written brilliant poems, brilliant epics, brilliant commentaries, brilliant scientific text, etc. And also he was a spiritual teacher, but he was more than a spiritual teacher because he had a diverse personality. He was a scientist also, he was a logician also, he was a mathematician also, literary genius also, right, military strategist also. He was much more than all of this, right? So his philosophy is based on inclusion. That means we all are part of one universal soul. We are not different from each other. Everyone, irrespective of caste and creed, they can join Vaishnava fold. Nobody will be differentiated on the basis of their gender, their caste, their money, etc. He mastered the Vedas, the Vedangas, right? Vedangas means the limbs of Vedas. Write it down, the limbs of Vedas. That means the Upanishads, the Purans, etc. The 4,000 Divya Prabandha. Divya Prabandha means the Tamil verses. And all the existing schools of Indian philosophy like Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purva Mimamsa, Yoga, Sankhya. And this he achieved by the age of 20 only. He achieved this by the age of 20 only. 20 साल की एज तक इन्होंने ये अचीव कर लिया था. ये सारी जो आपकी अचीवमेंट्स है, चाहे वेद को मास्टर करना हो, दिव्य प्रबंध पढ़ना हो, सारे इंडियन फिलोसफी स्कूल्स को फॉलो करना हो. सो ही ऑल्सो एक्सप्रेस्ड हिज जीनियस इन द फील्ड ऑफ आर्ट्स and science through other works like Ahara Niyamam. Ahar means food. Ahar का मतलब क्या होता है? Food. So this book details out how different food items are necessary to maintain a healthy mind and a disease-free life. Right? Then Shubhashita Nevi. That means this book contains a fund of moral and ethical advice which is relevant for your practical life. Then Silpartha Saram, a treatise on sculpture, and Bhugol Nirnam. Bhugol means geography. Bhugol का मतलब ही geography होता है. So it was a research text on geography at that time. Just imagine what kind of brilliant person, genius mind he was, right? Now the next important personality that we are going to study is Savitribai Phule. Right? Now it is said that Savitribai Phule, she was the first female teacher in India. भारत की पहली महिला जो अध्यापिका थी इंडिया में, भारत में, वो सावित्रीबाई फुले थी. एंड शी बिकेम द फर्स्ट फीमेल टीचर इन विच ईयर? इन 1848. सो यू हैव टू रिमेंबर द ईयर. देखो, आई नो दैट इट्स टफ टू रिमेंबर द ईयर टिल योर प्रीलिम्स बिकॉज देयर आर सो मेनी ईयर्स, देयर आर सो मेनी इवेंट्स, बट some very crucial, very significant years you have to remember them for prelims because उससे भाग नहीं सकते, years तो याद रखने पड़ेंगे. ठीक है, तो सावित्रीबाई फुले 1848 में पहली फीमेल टीचर बनी थी इंडिया में. एंड शी वेंट ऑन टू स्टैब्लिश अ शेल्टर फॉर विडोज इन 1854. जितनी भी विधवा औरतें थी उनके लिए एक शेल्टर, बिकॉज द विडोज वर ट्रीटेड वेरी बैडली इन आवर सोसाइटी बैक देन, right, in the 1800s. So she established a shelter for widows in 1854, which she further built on in 1864 to accommodate destitute women and child brides also. शुरू में तो विडोज के लिए शेल्टर बनाया था, बाद में 1864 में इन्होंने उस शेल्टर को और एक्सपैंड कर दिया. फुले also played a very important role in directing the work of सत्य शोधक समाज. सत्य शोधक समाज was formed by her husband. ठीक है, इनके पति के द्वारा सत्य शोधक समाज की स्थापना की गई थी. राइट, सो शी वॉज बोर्न इन नाईगांव इन महाराष्ट्र ऑन Jan 3, 1831 and she was widely regarded as one of India's first generation women. राइट, नाउ जब हम बात करते हैं सावित्रीबाई फुले की, आपको ये याद रखना है कि इनके पति का नाम क्या था. हिज हस्बैंड्स नेम वॉज, राइट इट डाउन, ज्योतिराव फुले. ठीक है, इनके पति का नाम था ज्योतिराव फुले एंड इनके चाइल्ड का नाम था यशवंत फुले. ठीक है, सन वॉज यशवंत फुले. क्लियर, ये हो गए बेटे और ये हो गए इनके हस्बैंड. ठीक है, एंड ज्योतिराव फुले He established the Satya Shodhak Samaj. तो ये याद रखना, who established the Satya Shodhak Samaj? It was Jyotirao Phule. And who expanded it, who directed the work in this Samaj? It was Savitribai Phule. Now she is also known as the Indian educationist. ठीक है, और इनका जन्म कब हुआ था? Jan 3, 1831 में इनका जन्म हुआ था, and she died on 10th March 1897, right, in Pune. Clear? She died on 10th March 1897 in Pune. She also set up the Bal Hatte Pratibandhak Griha. Please remember this. ये जो मैंने highlight किया है ना, ये prelims के perspective से highlight किया है. I've highlighted this from the perspective of prelims. Bal Hatte Pratibandhak Griha. Griha means house, right? So who established it? It was established by Savitribai Phule. She opened a clinic in 1897 for victims of the bubonic plague that was spread in Maharashtra at that time. Okay. Now moving forward, दारा शिखो. Now again it was in the newspaper. ये हिंदू न्यूज़पेपर में था दारा शिखो के बारे में. Right, they are trying to find the grave of Dara Shikoh. So the Ministry of Culture recently set up a 7-member panel for the ASI to locate the grave of Mughal Prince Dara Shikoh, and he is believed to be buried somewhere in the Humayun's tomb complex in Delhi, one of around 140 graves of the Mughal clan. राइट नाउ अगेन दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ये बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कल्चर क्या कर रहा है? दारा शिकोह, उन्होंने एक 7-member पैनल तैयार किया आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया का. दारा शिकोह जो मुगल प्रिंस थे, शाहजहां के बड़े बेटे थे, एल्डर सन थे, उनकी कब्र को ढूंढने की कोशिश की जा रही है. सो हु वाज दारा शिकोह? एल्डेस्ट सन ऑफ शाहजहां, एंड ही वाज किल्ड आफ्टर लूजिंग द वॉर ऑफ सक्सेशन अगेंस्ट हिज ब्रदर औरंगजेब. He is also described as a secular Muslim, a liberal Muslim who tried to find commonalities between Hindu and Islamic traditions. Now, religion-wise, he was secular. He was a very well-cultured, very humble king. But there was one flaw in his, in Dara Shikoh. That was he was not a very able, you can say, soldier. जब fight की बात आती है ना, तो वो थोड़े कमजोर थे. When it comes to military strategy, he was a little weak. Right, but overall as a human being he was a nice human being. He translated into Persian the Bhagavad Gita as well as 52 Upanishads also. And according to Shah Jahan Nama, the biography of Shah Jahan, after Aurangzeb defeated Dara Shikoh, he brought Dara Shikoh to Delhi in chains, and then Aurangzeb chopped off Dara Shikoh's head, right, and sent it to Agra fort, and his torso, that is the remaining of the body, was buried in Humayun's tomb complex. That was the cruelty, level of cruelty of Aurangzeb. Dara Shikoh is described as one of the greatest free thinkers of that time. ऐसा माना जाता है कि अगर दारा शिकोह राजा बन जाते, मुगल एम्परर बन जाते, तो इंडिया का नक्शा ही कुछ और होता, रूप ही कुछ और होता. Right, clear? He realized the greatness of Upanishads and translated them, which were earlier known only to a few upper caste Hindus. Translations from that Persian translation have inspired a lot of free thinkers of today also. It has also inspired the United States President ex-President Barack Obama. Now coming on to the next important personality, that is Lord Mayo. Lord Mayo or Lord Nass, he served as 4th Viceroy of India from 12th Jan 1869 to 8 Feb 1872. So 1869 से 1872 तक ये हमारे इंडिया के Viceroy थे. He was the 4th Viceroy. And you all know that the position of Viceroy, it was formed in which act? कौन सा एक्ट पास किया था गवर्नमेंट ने, ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट ने, जब ये वाइसरॉय की पोजीशन क्रिएट हुई थी? गवर्नर जनरल्स पोजीशन वाज चॉप्ड ऑफ, इट वाज रिमूव्ड, एंड वाइसरॉयज पोजीशन केम अप आफ्टर द पासिंग ऑफ एक्ट ऑफ गुड गवर्नमेंट, एक्ट ऑफ गुड गवर्नमेंट 1858. ओके. Now he started the process of decentralization of finance. This is important for prelims. ये prelims के लिए important है. कौन सा viceroy था, कौन था जिसने finance का decentralization इंडिया में start किया था? That was 4th Viceroy Lord Mayo. And in foreign affairs he followed the policy of non-intervention also. Again important for prelims. He opened up the Mayo College in Ajmer for educating children of the top class families, that is aristocratic families. And India's census began during his tenure. Again very very important, बहुत ज़्यादा important है, because 1861 में हमारा census बनना शुरू हुआ था. ठीक है, remember this for prelims. He was the first Governor General to be murdered in office by a Pathan Sher Ali in Port Blair. So Lord Mayo, he followed the policy of masterly inactivity, which was initiated by his predecessor. He welcomed Sher Ali Amin of Kabul at Ambala and held a darbar in his honor. He established Mayo College in Ajmer in 1875, underline this for prelims, for education of young Rajput princes. And the first principal of that college was Colonel Sir Oliver St. John. And in 1871 में जो census इंडिया का पहला census हुआ था, right, it was carried out on Mayo's orders only. 1871 इंडिया का पहला census Mayo के Lord Mayo के order पे ही carry out किया गया था. He organized the statistical survey of India also, another important point for prelims, right? Clear? आगे बढ़ते हैं. The other important works done under Lord Mayo were setting up of Department of Revenue, Agriculture, Commerce. Why? Because he decentralized the finance department now. That is why. Introduction of most improved rifle, that is the Snyder, and of rifled guns for the artillery. Improvement in sanitary conditions for the army, for the troops. He carried out the policy of state control of public works. Why? For railroad construction, for canal construction, etc. And he also took interest in the prison reforms. तो ये prison reforms को भी undertake करते थे, right? He was you can say supporter of the prison reforms. So that is why the most important legal reform during his time was passing of Indian Evidence Act of 1872. Okay, so remember these significant achievements by this viceroy for your prelims. Coming on to the next important personality, Lala Lajpat Rai ji. November 17th is the death anniversary of Lala Lajpat Rai, the firebrand Indian nationalist leader, affectionately also called Punjab Kesari. इनको हम पंजाब केसरी भी बोलते थे. He is most prominently remembered for his role during the Swadeshi movement, and also he was an ardent supporter of education. He became a follower of Dayanand Saraswati ji, who is the founder of Arya Samaj. Underline this, important for prelims. Dayanand Saraswati ji was a spiritual saint who was a founder of Arya Samaj, and Lala Lajpat Rai ji, he used to follow, he was a devotee of Dayanand Saraswati, he was a disciple of Dayanand Saraswati. He also helped found the Punjab National Bank. PNB की बात करते हैं, किसने मदद की थी उसकी रचना करने में? Lala Lajpat Rai ji ne. And in 1885, Rai established the Dayanand Anglo-Vedic School in Lahore, and he was educationist, a committed educationist throughout his life. Right. So Rai Tilak Bipin Chandra Pal, that is the Lal Bal Pal, fervently advocated the use of Swadeshi goods, that is the goods made in India, and mass agitation in the aftermath of controversial partition of Bengal in 1905 by Lord Curzon. Now one point, we studied about Savitribai Phule, we studied about Jyoti Rao Phule, we studied about Lala Lajpat Rai. One thing is common in these very great personalities that we are studying. They were all educationists. कौन थे ये लोग? इनका टाइटल जब आप पढ़ोगे ना हर जगह, ये अपने आप को एजुकेशनिस्ट कहते थे. They used to call themselves as educationist, right? So one thing always remember in your whole life, never ever disrespect a teacher. किसी एजुकेटर या किसी टीचर की डिसरिस्पेक्ट मत करना, because these educationists, these teachers, these gurus, they are going to carve out the future path of the young minds. जितने भी young minds है हमारी country में, उनका जो future path है, उनको कहीं ना कहीं help तो करते हैं सभी educationist. All of these educators and teachers, they are helping, we are helping, in some or the other way, all the aspirants, सभी aspirants, चाहे वो class 1st से लेके class 12th के बच्चे हो, college going students हो, किसी एग्जाम की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, किसी प्रोफेशनल एग्जाम की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, हर एक स्टूडेंट को चाहे वो कितना भी सेल्फ स्टडी करे, you are well accepted the fact that you are indulged in self study, then also at some point, at some topic, when you are stuck, you open up YouTube, you search for an educator who is teaching that topic, right? आप किसी point पे कभी ना कभी अटकते हो तो आप क्या करते हो? YouTube open करते हो, किसी न किसी टीचर को सर्च करते हो कि इस टॉपिक को कैसे भी हमें समझा दिया जाए, right? Even when you are investing in mutual funds or stocks, or if you want to open a particular FD, if somebody is trying to guide you, he or she becomes your educator. मान लो आपके पेरेंट्स आपको सिखा रहे हैं म्यूचुअल फंड्स में कैसे इन्वेस्ट करना है, मान लो आपका फ्रेंड आपको बता रहा है कैसे FD ओपन करवानी है, कैसे चेक फिल करना होता है, कोई भी आपको अगर कुछ सिखाता है ना, वो आपका एजुकेटर बन जाता है. उसकी रिस्पेक्ट करो, ठीक है? Clear? Now moving on, he founded the Indian Home Rule League of America in New York City in 1917. Again very important, बच्चे एनी बेसेंट में कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं. एनी बेसेंट होम रूल लीग इंडिया में उन्होंने ओपन किया था, इन्होंने अमेरिका में स्टार्ट किया था. He was elected president of INC during its special session in Kolkata in 1920, and this particular session saw the launch of the non-cooperation movement also. And he died as a patriot in 1928 in Lahore because he was attacked by the British police during a protest rally against the Simon Commission. Now, the most important fact for prelims is his books. His important works are the Arya Samaj, Young India, Evolution of Japan, England's Debt to India, India's Will to Freedom, Message of the Bhagavad Gita, Political Future of India, The Depressed Class, Problem of National Education, etc. These are the most important works written by Lala Lajpat Rai. Now coming on to the next personality, Subramania Bhartiyar. Now Subramania Bhartiyar, in 1949, he became the first poet whose works were nationalized by state government. 1949 में इनके जो poems थी उनको nationalize किया state government ने. ये पहले poet थे जिनके काम को nationalize किया गया था. He published the Sudesh Gitangal in 1908. Remember the year, please. And remember the author of this book. Sudesha Gitangal was written by Subramania Bhartiyar. He was a poet, he was a freedom fighter, social reformer from Tamil Nadu. He is also known as Mahakavi Bhartiyar, and Mahakavi here means a great poet. His songs on nationalism and freedom of India helped to rally the masses to support the Indian national movement also. For his greatest poetic output or greatest poem of that time are Kanan Pattu, Panchali Savatam, Koyel Pattu. These are the examples of the great poems written by him. He was against the caste system, and he said that there were only two castes, men and women, nothing more than that. ये ऊंची कास्ट, नीची कास्ट, डिप्रेस्ड क्लास, ये वो, ये सब बेकार है. दो ही लोग होते हैं, एक आदमी एक औरत, बस खत्म बात. उसके अलावा मैं कोई कास्ट नहीं जानता. Above all, he himself had removed his sacred thread, the Janeyu. He condemned certain shastras that denigrated, that disrespected women, and he believed in the equality of humankind. Clear? Coming on to the next important personality, Sham Singh Atariwala. So, the 174th death anniversary of Sikh General Sardar Sham Singh Atariwala was observed on Feb 10, 2020. Now, ये बहुत ही famous general है Sikh Empire के. He participated in many campaigns, right, in the Battle of Multan, Battle of Kashmir, etc. And he was also nominated to the Council of Regency by Maharani Jind Kaur for the minor sovereign Maharaja Duleep Singh, who was a son of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. During the first Anglo-Sikh War, he crossed the Satluj, vowing to lay down his life rather than return in defeat. So he was a very valiant, very, you can say, powerful and very strong-headed Sikh general, Sardar Sham Singh Atariwala, that you need to remember. Coming on to the next important personality, that is Swami Shraddhanand. Swami Shraddhanand की बात करते हैं. So first of all, let's understand what happened. Now, who is Swami Shraddhanand? Now, he was born on Feb 22, 1856 at village Talwan in Punjab, and he came into contact with Swami Dayanand. So, he was a disciple of Swami Dayanand, who founded the Arya Samaj. He wrote a book called Hindu Sangathan. You have to remember this for prelims. The book Hindu Sangathan was written by which personality? It was written by Swami Shraddhanand. And on December 23, 1926, Arya Samaj missionary Swami Shraddhanand was assassinated by a man called Abdul Rashid. He called untouchability a curse and a blot on the reputations of Hindus. Okay, clear? Now the next question comes, what is this Arya Samaj? ये Arya Samaj है क्या? So when we talk about Arya Samaj, जब हम Arya Samaj की बात करते हैं, it is, you can write it down, it is a Hindu reform movement. ये क्या है? एक हिंदू रिफॉर्म मूवमेंट है, फाउंडेड बाय दयानंद सरस्वती जी इन 1875, वेयर इन बॉम्बे. बॉम्बे में 1875 में आर्य समाज की स्थापना की गई थी. एंड दिस मूवमेंट बिलीव्स इन द infallible authority of Vedas. Objective is to eradicate ignorance, eradicate ignorance, injustice from this planet Earth. And the members of Arya Samaj movement, they say that there is only one God and they do not worship the idols. मूर्तियों की पूजा नहीं होती है, सिर्फ एक भगवान है, एक universal light है, that they worship. Okay. Now the next important personality is Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya. Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya was a freedom fighter and a social reformer, also the president of INC. He became the president 4 times. He was awarded the Bharat Ratna posthumously in 2014. Posthumously means when the person dies and then the Bharat Ratna is given, that means posthumously, after the death of the person. He was the editor of Hindi magazine Hindustan, again important for prelims. Who wrote Hindustan? Hindustan was the Hindi magazine whose editor was Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya. And he became the editor of the Indian Opinion also in 1889. तो हिंदुस्तान के एडिटर भी ये थे और ये इंडियन ओपिनियन के भी एडिटर रहे हैं. एंड ही ऑल्सो स्टार्टेड अ हिंदू वीकली दैट इज अभ्युदय, राइट, एंड लीडर एंड मर्यादा. एक हिंदू न्यूज़पेपर था मर्यादा, उसके ये फाउंडर रहे हैं. इंग्लिश न्यूज़पेपर था लीडर, उसके फाउंडर रहे हैं. एंड एक हिंदी वीकली मैगजीन थी अभ्युदया, उसके भी ये फाउंडर रहे हैं. ओके, अभ्युदया, लीडर, मर्यादा, इंडियन ओपिनियन, हिंदुस्तान. रिमेंबर दिस. Now, Pandit Malviya was instrumental in founding the Banaras Hindu University in 1916 and Banaras Hindu University BHU 1916 में इसकी स्थापना करके उसके वाइस चांसलर भी बने थे ये. He also became its vice chancellor. He was also against INC's Indian National Congress's participation in Khilafat movement. He participated in Second Round Table Conference in 1931 and he started the Ganga Mahasabha to oppose the construction of dams in the river Ganga. Okay. So these are some important pointers about him. He founded the organization Shri Mathura Vrindavan Hasanand Gochar Bhumi in Vrindavan also. So these are the important pointers that you need to remember. Now coming on to Paramahansa Yogananda. Finance Minister released commemorative coin on Paramahansa Yogananda to celebrate his 125th birth anniversary. So परमहंसा योगानंदा जी के 125th जो बर्थ एनिवर्सरी है उसको सेलिब्रेट करने के लिए कॉइन फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर ने रिलीज किया है. सो हु इज परमहंसा योगानंदा? ही इज द ऑथर ऑफ द बुक, द वेरी फेमस बुक ऑटोबायोग्राफी ऑफ अ योगी, एंड दिस बुक वाज पब्लिश्ड इन 1946. He is considered as the father of yoga in the West, and born in 1893, he was an Indian monk, a yogi and a guru who introduced the Self-Realization Fellowship or Yagoda Satsanga Society of India, in which he taught Kriya Yoga. So what is Kriya Yoga? The science of Kriya Yoga is foundation of Yogananda ji's teachings. Kriya Yoga means union. Kriya Yoga means union with the infinite, with the universal soul through a certain action, certain rites, certain kriyas. The Kriya Yoga mentally directs his life. The Kriya Yogi, the one who performs this yoga, he mentally directs his life energy, body energy to revolve upward and downward through the 6 spinal centers that we have. Right? So 1/2 minute of revolution of energy around the sensitive spinal cord of man effects subtle progress in his evolution. Okay, so this is spiritually very, very important. Kriya Yoga spiritually is very, very significant. Now coming on to the next important personality, that is the Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Now Delhi's Firoz Shah Kotla Stadium was renamed as Arun Jaitley Stadium. तो दिल्ली का जो फिरोज शाह कोटला स्टेडियम है ना, उसका नाम चेंज करके अरुण जेटली स्टेडियम कर दिया गया था. अरुण जेटली इज अ फॉर्मर फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर, राइट? So Firoz Shah Tughlaq, he was born in 1309 and he ascended the throne of Delhi after the demise of his cousin, that is Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So he is the third ruler of the Tughlaq dynasty, right? He started the imposition of jizya, that is the religious tax which is taken from the non-Muslims. He provided the principle of inheritance to the armed forces also. For example, if I am in the armed forces, then after me my son will work in the armed forces. That is the principle of inheritance, okay? And the British called him the father of irrigation department also because of many gardens and canals that he built. So what is his contributions? So he created an office for charity that is known as Diwan-e-Khairat. He created department of slave that is known as Diwan-e-Bandgan. Then he established sarais, that is the rest house for the benefits of merchants and other travelers. He adopted Iqtidari framework and he established 4 new towns, that is Firozabad, Fatehbad, Jaunpur and Hisar. He established hospitals known as Darul Shifa, Bimaristan or Shifa Khana. Okay, and he imposed various different taxes also. For example, kharaj. Kharaj is a land tax. तो जो भी आप प्रोड्यूस लैंड से करते हो, राइट, उसका 1/10 खर्च पे किया जाता है. Zakat, 2.5% tax on property which is realized from the Muslims. Kham is the 1/5 of booty captured. For example, if I won a particular state or a particular territory, so whatever I'll capture from there, right, 1/5 of that particular booty or of that particular revenue, I'll give it as kham. Then jizya, levied on the non-Muslim subjects, particularly the Hindus, but women and children were exempted from this jizya. Now we also levied different taxes like irrigation tax, garden tax, octroi, sales tax, etc. Right? So these are the important pointers that you need to remember from the point of view of Firoz Shah Tughlaq prelims, right? So this was all for today. I hope you enjoyed the class. आपको class अच्छी लगी हो? If you really enjoyed it, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.